Want that?
Problem is, my alarm's gonna go off tonight at 7 o'clock.
We'll call this meeting to order, 8:20. The Personnel Committee meeting. We have 4 things on our agenda. We have in front of us, I think we all have it, the Human Resource Job Review as done by WorkSprings. Any comments?
I just have one
Sure.
thing that stands out for me. Some of the research I've done, some of the senior HR people that I've talked to, the issue of who payroll reports to. There's not a hard and fast rule, from what I've gathered. In some organizations, payroll reports to HR, but in most organizations, payroll reports to finance. Payroll has been reporting to finance recently because we don't have an HR function. I'm just wondering if you can explain why WorkSpring chose to have the payroll coordinator report to the HR manager.
I did talk in depth about that with 2 people that are authorities in this. And this, first of all, this can be adjusted as we go. It can be adjusted with a new administrator. We're taking the instruction, I would say, from WorkSprings. They're in the professional business. They've been doing this for decades of this type of reporting, if you will. But some of the things I've learned over the last few weeks is that if there's I'm not say a conflict, because an HR person in place would take care of a conflict if about somebody's sick pay or things of that nature. We have somebody then in place that do that. But they're also looking at if certain things are followed through properly and there's safety nets in place. But to your question or concern, that can be adjusted.
Okay, because I know we want to get this going. We
Yes,
want to
we
have
do.
something for the next meeting.
Yep. So I'm entertaining a motion to present this to council. And one other, I would like to add this. I think we should approve the description for this and not advertise it at this point. The reason being, we have a lot of people wearing a lot of different hats and doing a lot of different things and filling vacuums and doing things that are coming to a surprise to a lot of people. We have people from almost every department in the city right now. We need this, we need that, every department has a request that we need. And it's not it's not financially feasible to do this. Without an administrator looking over everything and seeing everything, a lot of finance and cost, we're losing a lot of traction. This, for example, we've been talking
Wait,
about this for,
We're losing a lot of what?
we're losing a lot of momentum.
Oh.
We're spinning our wheels. We've been talking about putting a HR person in place for nearly 2 months, just trying to get the description figured out. But that can be council decision, but I'll accept the motion to first accept this report as the description for HR. So if I want to hear a motion on that.
So moved, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you. And a second?
I'll second it with just with those reservations about the payroll, of the reporting position, but
Thank you. All in favor?
aye.
I'll call the roll.
Oh, I can call the roll. Barrow,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Lineback.
Yes,
Okay, thank you. And we can leave up the decision of when to hire or advertise to the council, full council.
okay, because the next, as a point of information, I mean, the next step is that this has to be approved then by a vote through
Yes.
council.
Correct.
And that once we have that, we would be in a position to start recruiting for this job, correct?
If that's council's wish, correct.
Okay, so, all right, just that'll come up at a council meeting, I guess,
Thank you.
to initiate the search, okay?
Mr. Chairman, can we advertise this and, I don't know, somehow leave the pay scale for human resources rather open at this point?
Well, under resources, under the human resources, we can call this a supervisor position that would be at a range 3 pay versus range 4. And after talking to people in the field, that would get us a good choice of candidates. Councilman Lambach?
Well, this job description says HR manager, and in our pay scales, I just had that. It's range 4. There's an HR manager that's called out for, and it's range 4. It's not a supervisor position.
What we can title it as that.
Well, but here we just approved this job description. It says HR manager. It doesn't say HR supervisor. I thought we needed to be consistent with those things. Oh, I'm looking at this one has it. Doggone it. Maybe somebody else has. Oh, it's in this
Chelsea,
right here.
you can come forward.
Yeah, in the management and supervisory personnel 2024 handbook on page 21, it says range 4, a human resource manager. And we have a pay range for range 4, and that seemed pretty reasonable to me. And it's just a question of the experience that person would have that we would offer. I mean, it's between 100 or high 90 number. What was that?
Yeah, that's,
Oh, gosh, in 2026, it's between 100,000 and 120, almost 129. But that would depend on the person's experience, what we would offer them.
exactly right. Okay, I'm fine with that then.
Alan, do we need to, I know that the mayor asked us to deal with the job description and the pay scale thing. Do we need any action by the personnel committee for the pay scale related stuff?
I mean, you can recommend adopting at the council also, if you want to go that route.
Well, recommend that we use what's published in the handbook? Is that what that recommendation would be?
If it's already in the handbook, if you're going to alter it, then I don't think you really need
Yeah,
to.
that's what I was getting at, okay. I know, at least for me, I'm okay with that range 4 for an
Okay.
HR manager and the numbers that are in there.
And Ted, you're good with that range?
Yeah, that sounds like a motion, which I will second.
Okay.
But there's no motion necessary.
Okay.
But that's just for human resource, okay. We were also supposed to do something for the administrator and urban planning manager, is that right?
Correct.
So for the administrator, we have in the administrator and department directors 2024 amended 12/16/24, we had multiple categories. Well, yeah, we had 2 categories of positions from 2025 on. And I guess it's my understanding, again, what the mayor wanted to do was just have one pay scale for directors.
Correct. That's what my understanding.
So this would need to be changed in that 2024.
Well, Phil, what are you looking at? Are you looking at the,
Maybe it's the same thing. I printed it off.
is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, see, yours has this then just white out. This is what is currently there. So, yeah. And yeah, we need to, that needs to be gone, and this needs to have like, maybe even nothing, direct administrator and directors. Yeah,
Well, the
that's
administrator-
specifically right now. That deals with specifically right now.
Well, yeah,
But let me go back to my,
this is what you have in front of you, I believe, is what was recently done. But they have the administrator pay equal with all the directors' pay.
yes, that's what the mayor wanted to see. He wanted the same pay scale, not necessarily the same range, I guess, but not necessarily the same step.
Right, because your administrator would have a higher income than a director.
What I understood the mayor to say, he wanted one pay range for directors. And maybe the mayor can clarify what he had requested from us, since his ears were burning as we were talking about this issue. Mr. Mayor, we were just talking about the pay range. You just wanted to sit there and drink your
Talk about
coffee.
it.
Relax. The pay range for the administrator, it was, my recollection that you just wanted to have one pay range for directors and the administrator, and then it just depends on the step would indicate. Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you. That was a little cloudy issue.
So that we do need to make a motion on to modify this paperwork? This document about the administrator and department directors' 2024 salaries?
I mean, you can make a motion for it, just so we have it on the
Yeah.
books.
Okay.
That you're approving
Well-
that pay range.
Okay, I'll make that motion that we change the director's salary that were in the 2024 amended 12/16/2024 document, just to eliminate the section that was applied to the administrator/safety service director, and have the remaining category apply to the administrator and all directors that we currently have.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
There's a recommendation, correct? The council?
Yep.
Yep. I'll call the roll.
Barrow,
Yes?
Kurt,
Yes.
Lineback.
Yes.
Okay, we also have a urban planning zoning manager position discussion. Alan and Gina have been doing a lot of this, have been for quite a while now, and Ellen had done a little bit of researching and found a person who, on a temporary basis, could aid in this task. There's two things to talk about. One, of course, the position that we need to talk about. Secondly, and I wanted to bring it up now, is hiring a temporary person until that position is filled. Alan did a little bit of a work on this. He did 8 to 10 hours a week for about 3 months would be the time allotment that we would use on this person.
Yeah, the individual's Jacob Barnes. He used to be the zoning administrator for Springfield Township. He no longer works for them. He does have a Zoning Solutions LLC that he does zoning through. And I know he's got a lot of experience in zoning. You know, there's a lot of, I guess, zoning issues out there right now, especially nuisance type stuff that we can use him for to get after and follow up on. Correct, Gina?
Thank you, Alan.
So this would be like just a 3-month time period, to make a determination if that's useful or not, but at least to have somebody in that role.
3 months or up to 3 months?
It says 90-day agreement, so it
Okay.
would be 3 months initially, and we'd draft something that it could continue beyond that, but
I'd be interested in hearing from anyone who's attending what they think about that. I suspect, I mean, I think we probably need the help, but
Well-
I'd like to hear from people who are here who might have some thoughts.
Margot, come to the mic, please.
Okay, so I guess one question I have is, how did the 8 to 10 hours a week determination, how did that come into play? Is that the amount of time that he's available to work, Alan? Or is that all the time you guys feel is needed?
generally, we would probably assign him work to do, and once he hits that 10-hour cap, he'd probably be done for that week. That's how I would envision it, at least.
Okay, so you're just thinking that it might be up to 10 hours of work each week?
Right.
So the up
I'm
to
sure
3
that-
months, like, is that under the assumption that a job description's not going to get posted in a timely fashion or someone get hired in a timely fashion? Because it seems like 3 months to hire an urban planner is definitely feasible.
Right, that's why we limited it to 3 months.
Okay, so what happens if someone gets hired before the 3 months is up?
We can put some termination provision in there
Okay, okay.
in the
Thank you.
agreement.
Sure, thank you. And I had a question too about about the urban planning zoning manager position. We haven't advertised it yet. Can we put that at a supervisor range? Does that make sense to do?
I think there's a range in the currently range, right?
That position is currently rated in range 3, along with the supervisor of public service and water sewer, a project supervisor, so it's with other supervisors.
Well, does that change because we have...
But the
a
supervisor of
manager?
zoning inspection and public service administration is that's a different position, I guess. Supervisor of zoning versus an urban planning manager. What are we
Right.
t- what are-
So is managers a different pay scale is my question, Alan?
Again, for the urban planning manager?
Yes.
I don't think it is the way we set it up, range 3.
Okay, that's fine then. I just want to be sure of that. Because if we can hire somebody at a lower range and still have a good employee, that's what I'm looking to do, if we have that choice. Thank you.
Maybe I can ask a question of Gina. Maybe help me out. What's the difference in roles, responsibilities between a supervisor of zoning inspection and public and the zoning inspector? Is it really like the zoning because we're talking about this urban planning manager doing some zoning, work. Maybe come to the microphone, please.
So originally, we had it set up as a coordinator position. And we were interviewing, this was a couple years ago, for the coordinator position, because we were thinking we would bring somebody in at kind of like a level where they could learn the city and our zoning codes and maybe start helping us to change our codes and write it a little bit more succinctly than it is now. So we had him as a coordinator. And then when Kurt expressed interest, we changed it to a manager position and then put it into a grade 3. It was in a grade 2. So your question regarding the difference between the inspector or the zoning inspector, what was your question again?
Well, yeah, because I see a supervisor of zoning and inspection and public service, in public service administration, that's in range 2, and it's a supervisor.
So,
But then in talking about this urban planning manager, it sounds like we're talking
Yeah.
about this manager doing inspection.
so the manager would just be doing what the zoning job would be, which is what I've been doing now for actually quite some time, on top of everything else. But my position was the supervisor of zoning, inspection, and public service.
Okay.
And now that public service is out of that mix, and I was always at a grade 3, and then for some reason, it was put down to a grade 2. I don't know why, but, so the difference between them is the zoning person reports to me, and I train them, and then I, help direct what they do on a daily basis in terms of if they need to go out and do an inspections like on a shed or a driveway or a pool or whatever it is that a permit would come in for, then I direct them.
Okay, thank you. But so for this position that Jacob Barnes would fulfill, it's just zoning inspection, right?
He would do, whatever permitting process that we need him to do if need be for those kind of things, that he could do those type of inspections, if we needed them. But like I said, also do nuisance stuff, review other zoning permits that are needed for whether it's developments, other things like that. Right, we get a lot of letters to certify what the zoning is for property, and then also he would be able to work on any revamp of the zoning code. It's the other thing that he could do and start on and take a look at our zoning code, because there's a lot of things in there that we potentially could modify and update it to modernize it.
Thank you, Alan. Anything else on that, Phil? You look a little,
Yeah, I'm still confused about, I understand there's zoning inspection that has to take place, okay, and support with permitting, but we've got this urban planning manager title that we also added a, slash zoning person, and it's unclear to me, what kind of managerial responsibility the urban planning manager needs or has. Is it just one person doing inspection, and it's really, that position should report to a supervisor of zoning inspection? And
So I think the management part would come in like developments that are coming in, dealing with development agreements, dealing with a lot of different aspects of zoning that you wouldn't see on the face of it, but there's a lot that goes on up there that the zoning or urban planning manager would be involved with that falls into managing those type of projects in effect.
Is that a full-time position?
Urban planning manager?
Yeah, I mean, in real life, you know, for Maumee. I'm seeing some head, because I don't know, I'm just not familiar, but it's full-time.
Yes.
And zoning inspection is a separate full-time job that we need to have done.
This would cover both functions.
Oh, it does.
It's not an added position. They just revamped the title to show what type of work they were doing. And part of it is planning as much as zoning administration and zoning nuisance type issues.
It was Andy Glenn's position, and I think his title was zoning administrator, maybe?
Okay,
And so then when Andy left and we started looking for somebody to fill his position, we made it a coordinator position.
so kind of
We
moved
could-
it down?
Right, we could bring them in at a ground level, they'd learn everything, and then maybe move up to kind of an urban planning manager position. And I think the urban planning was also, I think the vision was to go above and beyond what that position would be, just in simply above permitting and above inspection. And it would be the overall urban view of the city of Maumee and how they could plan better for the whole city.
And how
In
projects fit
conjunction with the
within, right,
master
right,
plan.
Right.
That's how I think it was, the original vision of that by Patrick. Absolutely, yeah, which would be so nice, so nice, yeah. I've been dealing with since Andy was here, and he went on leave in '22, I believe, on a medical leave. So I've been dealing with the zoning, supervising that since then, and working on that, working all of it, all
I think a lot of the degrees now are in urban planning management, you know, coming out of college versus, you know, not really a zoning degree you can get, but it's degree in urban planning, so.
Okay, well, I'm just coming back to what the chair was mentioning about it being a supervisor position, but if it's an urban planning manager, that's range 3.
Well, I was asking or recommending, could we make it a supervisor position to have it at a level 3? That was, because it's a lower pay scale, and there's a lot of people
okay.
out there in that arena. That's why I brought it up for those different positions that we have open and available.
Do we have any idea of, you know, what the market will bear out there, you know, to get somebody, you know, to fill that position as being at a supervisor level? That's range 2.
Well, level 3 was what I was told would get you a good group of candidates. That's why I recommended it.
Well, I'm all for getting good candidates.
So I think most of them will have a 4-year degree in urban planning management that would fulfill that position ultimately.
Are there thoughts that that's what we would want to target, just somebody right out of school?
Well, when we hired before, most of them did have degrees, specific degrees in urban planning management. I think Kurt Smith even had a degree in some planning. I'm not sure exactly what he completed, or I think it was urban planning, so.
Yeah, because if they have some experience, I think we'd have to stick with range 3, not go with range 2. I mean, range 2 to me is...
I'd agree on range 3 because we want more experience. Anything else on that?
Need a motion,
Matt?
if you're going to recommend it.
Nothing.
Do we have a motion to recommend this position to council?
What about the
So
hiring?
moved.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did you recommend the approval of hiring to council, that part-time?
Oh, no, we didn't do
Jacob
that.
Barnes?
I move we approve the hiring of Mr. Barnes under the terms and conditions that Alan has expressed.
And could I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Barrow?
Yes.
Kirk?
Yes.
Lineback?
Yes.
And the next topic is our city administration search discussion. Gentlemen?
Well, the first step was, I think the mayor asked us to look at the job description for the administrator,
Right.
and because it included, the multiple roles, public service and public safety. But as far as like just stripping those out, I had just, in looking at that job description, it was just kind of overwhelming, and it seems like there's so much detail. I was looking at, other job descriptions, a little more concise, but it seems like we list all kinds of stuff. Serves as liaison for Maumee Indoor Theater. I don't know if that's just the way Maumee does it, but it oftentimes, I also saw a lot of language that was in the job description duplicated in an ordinance that talked about the administrator's responsibilities. And I just thought that whole thing does need to get cleaned up. I don't know if it's just a quick and easy, let's just strike out everything that
No,
has
I
to do with.
I agree with that. There's a lot there. I would like to recommend that we would have WorkSprings look at this job description for administrator and come back with a version that might work better, might be more concise to what we're looking for.
Well, I guess I'd like to get the job descriptions of some of our neighbors, Oregon, Rossford, Perrysburg, kind of as a start, rather than immediately jump to WorkSpring, because it's like, what are we going to give them? You guys, we should provide them some input on what we're looking for, I think. And so if it's just like another couple
Well,
weeks.
we do, the job description you're looking at is what we do have currently.
Yes,
And you're
That is-
talking about making suggestions off of that, or from that.
yeah, I know if I were asked to say, well, okay, Councilman Leinbach, what specific changes do you want to make? I'd want to start by looking at some of our neighboring communities and what their job descriptions look like for their administrators. And that could help me, make a more informed choice rather than just say, this is what I think. That way I'd be using, these are what some other communities think, as well. Because I don't think WorkSpring has something, a file on their hard drive that says, okay, here's the job description for the administrator for Maumee. I think they probably have some fairly generic things, too, that cover the responsibilities of what an administrator does. And we could pare some things down.
Janet, could you go to the mic, please?
What WorkSpring will do is they ask a lot of questions, and they put out a questionnaire for us to answer in terms of what it is exactly we're looking for. And that is part of their process. So they don't just kind of, I guess, willy-nilly, like, write one up, but they do their research as well. But I think providing them the different job descriptions for various city administrators would be a good thing, too. So we can collect those easily.
And when they ask for this information, what are you looking for? What role does council have in then that document that gets submitted to them? Or is that only the administration does that?
You mean in terms of the questionnaire?
Well, the responses to the questionnaire, as I understood what you just said, is that WorkSpring will ask questions, say, what are you essentially getting at? What are you looking for in an administrator?
Yeah.
What do you want that person to do?
So like the one that they just did, the HR manager, this was all discussed here, and that is what was provided to them. Not only the suggestions by, I think it was Jennifer and Margot.
Margot, yeah, submitted.
Yeah. Those were all submitted, all of that information was submitted to them.
Okay, all that information was never reviewed kind of as in whole by this. I'm not aware of that.
No,
I saw.
WorkSprings had all the information. Is that what you're asking?
Anybody that wanted to submit to them could, so
Yeah.
we provided them
Yeah.
with information from all available or whoever.
And that was also, Jim and I had talked about it as well, and he suggested that he wanted all of that information sent to them.
Okay, so the idea would be that anybody and everybody who has thoughts on what the administrator position should be, you're free to provide that to WorkSpring?
I guess that,
If-
or to me,
Well,
and I can
not
forward it to
anybody,
them.
but council.
Yeah, Gina
Council
would
or
be the point.
administration.
Gina would be the point
Yeah, okay,
person.
sorry, okay.
Yeah, I can forward it to them, and, yeah.
Okay,
So we would just request that it be in by what, Wednesday, Thursday, so we can get it going?
Yeah. If that works. Okay, on the topic here of administration, I would like that process to begin, Gina, so whoever has input, ideas, suggestions, get that to her as quick as we can. Margot?
microphone, please, thanks.
Or speak really loud.
I'll just do my follow-up one too. So I haven't had a chance to check my email lately. Did we get the job description for the city administrator sent to all of us? To be able to comment on?
I don't know if we did or didn't, but we can get that out to everybody.
Okay, so then we can do comments, so I guess my overall kind of thing, which, I'll express during council meeting too, because like you said, Mr. Barrow, you were making a recommendation that we don't hire right now, or we don't advertise right now. And you were saying that a lot of people have a lot of things that they're doing, and, I lose momentum, things keep building up, but that's where I'm coming up at with this. I feel like it's been August 16th is when Patrick's last day was. It's now October 13th, and we haven't even gotten the HR job description advertised. We haven't even gotten that position advertised. We've been talking about urban planning. We haven't gotten it advertised. We're now starting to talk about city administrator. We haven't gotten it advertised. So it's been 2 months and nothing's been advertised. And the way I see it is if we don't have butts in the seats to be able to start doing the work, then things are just going to keep piling up and we're digging ourselves in a hole. So we really need to make some forward progress on something. I know we've shuffled some people, but that's not adding people. That's not adding more people to get the work done. So I guess I'm just wondering why it's like every meeting, it's like, oh, job description.
Well,
Okay, comments for the next meeting. Oh, it's going to WorkSprings. Okay, in a month, then we'll get their comments back. Like, this is like the slowest process I've ever seen.
I agree.
So that's
It's
just
analysis paralysis.
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 Analysis paralysis. And that's
It
what I
is-
was thinking
it
when
is
you guys
that.
were talking about the critiquing of the job descriptions. It's like, what did we do before? Why can't we come up with job descriptions? Then why can't we get said job descriptions advertised? And then when people apply.
Excuse me.
Well,
Let me-
can I just finish my thought, just real quick? So we're talking about like the pay range and what experience we'd like the candidates to have. And when it comes down to it, there's gonna be a lot of people that apply that may or may not fit that criteria we put out there. But we might decide that they're the best person for the job. And then the pay range might need to get adjusted based on what their experience is. Like, I feel like some of this stuff is fluid, and you're not really going to know exact answers to it until you get that person in that we've deemed is the right fit for Maumee. And then you're going to get like a kind of organic conclusion to what the pay range should be based on their experiences. And as long as it's not something that's more than what we've already put out there, you would think it could be pretty easy to financially kind of okay or not. Thank you, Gabe, for letting me finish. I just had
Sure.
to get it completed.
I'll try to remember some of what I wanted to answer to. Yeah, I agree. It's been a long, slow, mucky process. And it doesn't have to be, it didn't have to be, but a lot of people wanted to weigh in. People were writing their own job descriptions who had no experience in this. And we took those as face value and forwarded those and more changes and who they should report to and what Perrysburg does and what Oregon does. So it extends the conversation, extends the time. We've been talking this since August. And we have people in the city hall doing jobs that they're not authorized to do, but they're doing it, and it just slows things down because now we have to go through that. We have to file through all of that. And that's mucky as it's turned out to be. That's why we're still sitting here trying to just authorize this description of the job. I agree with you. It's slow and it's It's way messier than it needs to be. I'm for getting things done, but what we're missing is a big picture. The first thing we should have thought about in August, after Patrick had left, was we need an administrator to administer, and that's not what's happening. We're looking for an HR person, we're looking for an urban planning person, we're looking for people in the water department, we're looking for people up in payroll, but we don't have anybody who they answer to. You can't have the city run by 3, 4, 5 people doing what they want when they want. So that's the push, that's the hold on the HR position. In my opinion, I think what I'm saying, the actions of what's happened supports what I'm saying. My recommendation was going to be to have WorkSprings review the administrator's description, input from whoever's going to give the input, goes through Gina. Secondly, I would like WorkSprings to come, and we talked about this before, I'd like WorkSprings to come and do a presentation on what an HR compliance audit looks like, and also what a gap analysis looks like for our city. We've talked about that before. So those are things that I'd like to recommend to go forward to help with this process. We need to start at the top and not in the middle and out sideways with the jobs that we need to hire.
Well, I'm
So-
certainly for WorkSpring making a presentation.
Yeah, but I looked at the calendar, and I think our next council meeting is the 20th. Is that right?
Next Monday.
Yeah, next Monday, and I'm not sure if, Gina, if you can facilitate that, and then we'll let that, if that happens, that can be on our agenda. But I think that's important. We need to start really at the beginning of this. I'm all for an HR person. I'm for that, for everything that we need. There's a lot of money that needs to be spent here. We're looking at nearly $1 million of increased expenditures here. And I think we really need to take a step back, slow down, and look at what we're doing, and begin with the search for the administrator, have the WorkSprings come here, do their presentation so we have a better understanding of the product we may get. So with that, I would entertain, unless you want to have a conversation more about this.
You want to entertain more on item 4?
Yes. Well, I want to entertain, first of all, to have WorkSprings do a review on the administrator job description with the input that'll be sent to Gina.
Well, if that's what we did last time, we can get this turned around quickly. Any council members can provide any input. And I know some of those council members will look to various citizens for some of their thoughts so that we can get those channeled in. Get that turned around in a week or so. A couple weeks, was that what it was before? A couple weeks maybe, at most? Okay, all right. Right, good. That's the first step. We got to have a job description to start advertising, promoting it.
That's your motion?
I'll make that motion.
All right.
Second.
Call the roll.
Barrow?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yes.
Lineback?
Yes.
And then, we don't need a motion for the presentation? No.
No.
All righty. I believe that's, sorry, is there anything else, Alan? I'm sorry, Jim?
So I would agree with a lot of your assessments that we need to move forward. So what's the next step, next action steps? Obviously, council needs to approve an ordinance that's going to change the pay scale for the administrator. That needs to be on the next meeting. We get the job description set, and then we need to move forward with advertising, or at least a search, or not a search, but I mean, getting the word out there. The current job description has been in place for quite a while, and it is kind of special to Maumee, because there's certain things in Maumee that administrator does it in another community they won't. So I think you're headed in the right direction and maybe getting at least one more input, but know that the job description has been in place for, well, we've hired 2 since I've worked for the city, Mr. Gzak and Mr. Birch, and that's been it. I don't think a whole lot has changed as to what that person does. And yes, it's detailed, but you answer those questions in the interview. I mean, you get somebody in here and they're asking, all right, yeah, what does this mean? What does that mean? But it's not meant to be overwhelming. It's meant to let them know what that job is and that they can ask questions
Sure.
when they come and sit before a hiring committee. So I would ask this committee that, well, I'm not going to ask, but I think you're headed in the right direction in getting the job description finalized quickly. Next council meeting, approve the pay range, and those are the two items you need to post the job.
Anything else? Because you had something you were,
That's it.
okay, thank you. If there's not anything else, I'll entertain a motion to, I'm sorry, Ted?
Move to adjourn?
A second?
Second.
Call the roll?
Farrell,
Yes?
Kurt, yes, Steinbach.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.